Hey everybody, welcome back to 14 Rings and NFC East podcast. I'm your host Lucas with Mal, Maurice, and Earl, and we are doing our Giants offseason grades. Mal, are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. As excited as I'll ever be.
Yes, this is the hype season for Mal, where all the hopes and dreams are still alive.
Yeah.
Could become reality this season. The defense certainly looks that way, so we'll see. But Mal, how about you break it down for us?
Yeah, so we're going to go over some free agency moves first. So I'm just going to say these, and a lot of these guys are depth pieces, guys, but we'll grade overall. So let's go with our first free agent signing. We had a lot. So we had Jameis Winston sign.
Hey yo.
He most recently had played for the Browns, so I really liked this one. He's got a great personality, going to be a nice backup for us with who's reliable and is a vet, which is what we needed. Our quarterback room needed at least somebody else, and we got somebody else with Jameis Winston. So he was our first one. Then we re-signed linebacker Ty Summers. Good depth guy. Happy with it. Then we signed quarterback Russell Wilson for a 1-year deal. Recently played with the Steelers, so he is going to be our vet bridge quarterback that we desperately needed to not force our rookie quarterback to start. We'll see how Russ does because he kind of was okay with the Steelers, but I think it's fair to say he's on his way to washed. So we'll see what happens, guys. But that was a big addition to the quarterback.
Mal, who would you? I know they said Russ is the starter going into training camp, but between Russ and Jameis, who would you rather have started?
Honestly, I'd rather have Russ.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't really that bad with the Steelers last year. I mean, is he not the greatest anymore? No, but he's serviceable, and I'm happy to have Winston behind him because he's reliable. And at any point in time, if they need to make the switch and Jameis wins it, then by all means, go ahead.
Okay.
We'll see how it works. We also re-signed inside linebacker Deontay Johnson. He's a good depth piece, had some first team reps last year, but he had a bad ankle injury, so we'll see how he comes off of that. We also re-signed offensive lineman Aaron Stinney, another depth piece, but won't ever complain about keeping vets on the line. It's something that we've struggled with the past few years, so I'll take the depth, especially healthy guys. Then we signed wide receiver Zach Pascal. Also seems like a depth guy. He also returned kickoffs. But we re-signed our kick returner Isaiah Smith-Marset, who did great for us last year. So that's a really essential spot that we struggled with as well for a really long time. So not mad with that signing either. Then we signed wide receiver Lil Jordan Humphrey. And to be honest with you guys, I didn't really know much about him until I kind of read up about him. Honestly, awesome name. But another depth piece that wide receivers can't get enough of them, and we'll see if he winds up on the team or the practice squad. Then we have linebacker Victor Dimukeje.
Ooh, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, he was selected by the Cardinals in the 6th round of the 2021 NFL draft. He has experience, so like I said, good depth guys, guys that are going to compete in camp, especially because the linebacker room was struggling for a while until Okereke was signed and McFadden kind of started to break out a little bit, but never will complain about having linebackers either. We re-signed offensive lineman Greg Van Roten. He is going to be competing for the starting guard spot with Evan Neal, whose 5th-year option we did not pick up and will be switching to guard this year, which is something that Giants fans have been saying for a while. Will he do better? Time will tell. I mean, this is his last year to prove it here. Otherwise, he's got to go try somewhere else. But Greg Van Roten will be most likely starting alongside Evan Neal if Evan Neal does win that guard spot, because guard is where we are our weakest right now.
Okay.
We signed defensive lineman Jeremiah Ledbetter. Also another depth piece to add to the line. Like I said, the line is going to need all the depth it can get. You win the games through those trenches, so we'll see how these guys compete in camp. Then we signed linebacker Demetrius Flanagan-Foles, another linebacker. Started a career-high 3 games in 2024 with the Jets and actually had his first career interception. First interception, yes. So, I mean, listen, good depth piece again. Then we signed one of our more breakout signings, cornerback Paulson Adebo, coming from the Saints. This is going to be a good signing if he comes off of his injury well. We desperately needed another cornerback with Drew Phillips having a pretty good rookie season. I expect to see him step up. But Adebo will be that veteran next to Deonte Banks that will hopefully help us shore up that secondary. Pretty good player, so I'm excited to see how he does in training camp. We then signed safety Javon Holland, which is honestly my favorite free agency signing thus far.
Yeah.
He shores up that miss we were having from Xavier McKinney, as well as having Tyler Nubin, our rookie safety from last year, step in with him. So he's that veteran presence back in the secondary there. I really like this move. I really hope that he's good for us because this was a nice signing in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the move because he's a safety. You guys lost another safety in free agency too, right?
Jason Pinnock, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he took a step back last year. He did really well in 2023 and 2024. We did see some regression in him. We also have Dane Belton, who is
I do like Dane.
On his third year, so he should be trying to step up here. I'm feeling a lot better this year about the secondary than I did last year. That is 100% for sure. So I think that we'll hopefully see some improvements there.
Okay, so is that all the free agency moves that you got?
No.
Oh wow, okay.
I said I was
There's
gonna
more.
There's
more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there's
we
more.
re-signed Darius Slayton, which I think was a good move. He's been pretty consistent for us, team guy, so glad to bring him back. Then we signed defensive lineman Chauncey Galston from the Cowboys, which was also one of my favorite free agent moves. He is going to bring a great amount of competition to this new and improved defensive line. He's going to be able to step in, for different reps. I'm cool with it. Love it. Glad we took him from the Cowboys. Micah is not happy, so I'm happy. We then signed linebacker Chris Board from the Ravens, who is a strictly special teams guy and has apparently been stellar for the Ravens. I've heard nothing but great things from their fans. So hopefully he steps up for us on our special teams, one of our other weakest units. Then signed offensive tackle James Hudson III, who's going to be more offensive line depth, maybe could compete for a starting spot or even just a team spot. We'll see how he does. We then signed offensive lineman Stone Forsyth. Same thing, depth, competition. We'll see if he makes the team. Then we re-signed our kick returner, Amir Smith-Marset, which I went into a little bit earlier. Then we signed defensive tackle Roy Robertson-Harris, more depth to the line. Tommy DeVito re-signed, but we'll see if he even makes the team with a crowded quarterback room. Re-signed our punter, Jamie Gillen. Re-signed our tight end, Chris Manhertz, depth for that position as well. Offensive linebacker, Timon Fox, reliable depth. And then our long snapper, Casey Kreider. So our long snapper and our punter are shored up. So that is what concludes the Giants free agency moves. And listen, I'm happy with the depth. I'm happy with some of the holes that we filled, like corner, safety, quarterback. Quarterback solution is not long-term there, but we'll get into that with the draft. I give the Giants overall free agency probably an A-. What are your guys' thoughts on any of the moves or the grades?
I think a B+ is appropriate here. I don't think I'd give it an A because there was no except for maybe Javon Holland, not a not the splashiest moves, but they really did address a lot of your guys' issues. So I do like that. So I'm going to give you guys a B+.
Okay. Earl, Maurice?
I'll give it a straight B. Outside of Golston and the quarterbacks, they addressed it, but
consider what was on the market. They got the best that they could.
Even to this day, I still don't understand why bring in Winston and Wilson.
So my ideology behind it all is that you got to remember that the Giants literally went through 3 quarterbacks the past 2 seasons, both seasons, Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, Tyrod Taylor. We were constantly cycling, and every week was who's going to play quarterback. In Joe Shane's mind, he has 2 reliable vets that are serviceable, that unlike Drew Lock, who is not serviceable. Tommy DeVito is not starting caliber in this league. We've learned that. He had to have a situation where if Russ goes down, Jameis can step in and doesn't force Jackson Dart to play.
Yeah.
That's the whole ideology around it. And honestly, I think it was the smartest move for us because we've struggled with that for years. So that's why I graded it so highly with that ideology. Just my personal opinion.
Question. Do you think when they signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston that they had in mind not to draft a quarterback in the draft?
I don't think so because they wouldn't have traded up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just to address, part of the reason why you had a QB carousel is because your offensive line was pretty horrendous the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's gotten better now.
No,
As long as Andrew Thomas can stay healthy, that's the key for you
Right.
guys.
That's the
No,
big
I
thing.
think Evan Neal's the key.
Yeah.
Can he produce at that
Yeah.
guard position?
No, their line was doing okay at the beginning of the season and even Daniel Jones was looking okay at the beginning of the season until Andrew Thomas went down.
Well,
Andrew Thomas made up for a lot of their holes.
I understand that he's their best lineman, obviously, but
you
I think
gotta have a solid. You have to have a solid five. And if
yeah,
you don't have that solid five,
the whole group has to be good.
You're not gonna have the best results. So
yeah, no, I'm not saying that they were great, but they were the line was serviceable and gave Daniel Jones enough time. I remember in week 2 when we played them, like Daniel Jones was running everywhere, and that's because that offensive line was actually playing. But
that's also week 2.
Yeah. And soon afterwards, Andrew Thomas went down, and then, we know the rest. So I think, if you have the line looks better and healthier. So as long as you have that, then you have a chance here.
Yeah.
Or what grade do you give them?
I give them a B.
B, okay.
B plus, high ceiling if everything plays out for certain players. I think Javon Holland was the biggest acquisition y'all got. I agree with that. I like that move. And then for Chauncey, he gets a chance to try to prove that he can be a starter. And at that point, right now, he's just a rotational piece and has some upside. I would recommend him playing more in the inside, but you want to test him out on the outside, that's totally fine. See if he can go out there, earn his keep. And, best of luck to him, but I feel like Dallas got an upgrade.
Yeah.
But not a bad free agency, Mal.
Now, Mal, your team had no trades outside of the draft, and we're just going to go ahead and talk about the draft, right?
Yeah, we could just talk about the draft. So, first round of... Hold on one second, guys. I had a whole thing here, and now I can't locate it. Okay.
Well, if you saw the live episode or the clips afterwards, you know how excited Mal was about the first round.
Yeah. So, first round went really well. So, at number 3 overall, we selected Abdul Carter, edge from Penn State. No debate here. Best edge in the draft.
Arguably the best player in the draft.
Yeah, but that's more to come. More to come. But definitely the best edge in this class. Giants couldn't pass up on that. Surefire D-line is looking great. We then traded up from number 25. We traded with the Houston Texans. And we traded number 34, 34 to number 25 with the Houston Texans. Jackson Dart, quarterback from Mississippi. In the end, I'm a ride with whoever, but if Dable thinks, I think the most important thing that comes out of all this, if Dable thinks that this is his guy, then this is his guy. Let him work with him, see what he can do. You traded up for a quarterback. You stood on business. Now continue on.
Look, we've already talked about the Shedeur Sanders of it all. We saw the stuff after we talked about it in terms of them getting mad, him getting mad that that Dable purposely messed up the install to see if he would catch it. We saw that. We don't need to hamper on that. I'm thinking more about Jackson Dart. I said Jackson Dart for you guys in the mock drafts. I think that Jackson Dart reminds Dable of Josh Allen. The build, the strong arm. And Dable was the one that really unlocked Josh Allen. So, if you can get that, and it doesn't sound like they're planning on rushing him. And to be fair, I remember it was it was Shane in an interview saying, we weren't planning on starting Josh Allen week 1, but injuries happened and we ended up starting him, and that's where it went. Now, you guys have a little bit more protection than the Bills do with Winston and Wilson, but look, I would not be surprised if we didn't see him barely at all this season. Or not until like week 12.
We shouldn't at this point.
Yeah, I think with Dart, Yeah, he just got to sit, wait, see how it plays out, work on his mechanics, continue to get healthy. Because I know he had an injury this past season, but came back. But also, he might need to work on his cadence a bit because pretty much through his 3 years, all he did for his snap count was, and then one of cold purple that was. People can figure that out in the NFL. But overall, I think for him and Dable is going to be something that really Dable can unlock more out of Dart, and for him to just learn. I believe he probably won't even play this season, just to kind of sit and watch and see how it plays out. Then he goes after it in season 2. And for that, I think for him just sitting there waiting, I think that'll be best for him because he's pretty much going to be their franchise guy moving forward.
I think it depends on where the Giants are towards the end of the season. Now, if
Yep.
they're competing for a playoff spot, then no, he's not going to see time. But if they're, similar to what they were last year, there's a chance he could see the field.
But do you think he would overthrow DeVito if he's still on this roster?
I think DeVito's not going to be on the roster. I agree with Mal.
So you think
I think he's a practice
be.
squad. He's practice squad.
So you think it's only going to be 3 quarterbacks with Winston?
How often do we see
Wilson
4 quarterbacks
and
on the same roster?
Right.
Well, 2 quarterbacks and an emergency backup quarterback.
Yeah, but they're going to keep. They're going to probably keep. Yeah, no, Jackson. No, DeVito's going to be practice squad, and that's fine because you know Dable's system the most, and it's good to keep somebody like that around for like training camp and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to be a practice squad guy all the way.
All right.
Cool. Yeah. No, let's get to the second round. You guys, that's not the only fun moves that you guys made.
Yeah, so at number 65, we took Darius Alexander, defensive tackle from Toledo, which I really like this pick. I think he'll do really well next to Dexter Lawrence. Listen, day 2 is really where we get like the potential for like these starting guys. So I think that Alexander could see and be a playmaker on the line, maybe even starting, hopefully. Because that's definitely a hole that we have. So I hope that Joe Shane picked that talent right. But I was happy with the value that we got for him. Now, this is the one I'm more interested to talk to Earl and Maurice and Lucas about. Number 105, we selected Cam Scattaboo, running back.
I'm so happy that you did that. I am. Because, when we had Dan on, we love Dan, by the way. Dan was like, you need to have a Thunder with Tyron Tracy Jr.'s Lightning, and Cam Scattaboo can definitely bring the Thunder. Bring the Thunder.
He definitely
and honestly, the name is iconic, like Scattaboo. It's giving like Tommy DeVito. Like I feel like he's gonna be like
the New York Scattaboo.
Yeah, the Scattaboo. But yeah, no, I love this pick, guys.
It sounds like one of those northern New York State towns, like Scattaboo. The town of Scattaboo.
Scattaboo, New York.
Yeah, Scattaboo, New York. Yeah.
Yeah, like by Buffalo or something. Yeah, but I love this pick. What did you think, Earl?
Yeah, I like the pick for y'all. I think having that Thunder part, especially with Cam, is one that is really good. And I think if you really want to have Tracy be that Lightning, then so be it. But Cam Scattaboo, he can do a lot. Like if you wanted to make him a gadget guy, you could definitely do it. He can throw the football. He definitely slimmed his weight. I was really happy that he was able to do that because I was following him back at Arizona State, and he was a little heavier than normal. But this past season was by far his best season, especially with him being slimmed down, leaned down a bit. I just got to see how well he runs in the NFL because I definitely know it's a different tempo of it. But overall, I think he's going to have a very good career, especially being a 1-2 punch with Tracy with the Giants. So I like that pick for y'all.
Yeah,
awesome.
I really like it too. This is great news for Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy, he's that back that you want to see him catch the ball out of the backfield.
Right.
Be like that sizzle, and Scattaboo can beat the steak. And that's it. Like Earl said, it's a great 1-2 combo. Yeah, I mean, things are looking like a nice young offensive core if everybody, plays up to their talent level.
You could make the argument that with Scattaboo and Tyrone Tracy, that the Giants have the second best running back room in the division. And I'm saying that over my division too, so I'm not
right
my
now.
team too.
It's still May.
Yeah. But no, we'll have to see how Scadaboo plays, but absolutely, it has potential. It has potential, and that's what we need. But on to the 154th pick, which was actually one of my favorite picks of this draft. We selected Marcus Bowe, offensive guard from Purdue. We got him two rounds later than he was projected. I don't know why he fell. I honestly think a lot of the defensive and offensive line talent in this draft was deep. This was a great value pick for where we were at round 5. We were actually, I think there was a report that we were going to try and trade up for him, but they said that he didn't go at like a certain point, so Joe decided to wait it out and got lucky. But he can also play center and tackle, but if needed, and I think that Dable is big on trying new things out in training camp. He switched the line around like literally the past 2 seasons. Obviously it didn't work, but we'll see. He adds a great opportunity. He has a great opportunity to start because Greg Van Roten is very mid, and Evan Neal, like the guard position is still an unknown. So he has a very good opportunity to start. Hopefully he plays to his potential, but I really liked this one. I thought it was a good value pick. Now with 219, we took Thomas Fidone II, a tight end from Nebraska. I didn't know much about him.
I didn't think you guys were going to go tight end.
Yeah, I didn't think we
I
were
know a
either.
lot about him.
And I'm sure you do, Earl, and I would like to hear what you have to say because Bellinger has really fell off. Theo Johnson he was a rookie last year, so we still have to see how he goes, but we still lack a lot of depth in that tight end room, and Bellinger is always hurt, and so is Manhurts. So I don't hate it. But Earl, go ahead. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, Thomas Fidone, he was definitely one of my favorites coming out of Nebraska. That's the college I rep. And just seeing him go to the ops, it was a little sad, but overall, I wish him nothing but the best. You guys got a really good tight end. He can catch the ball. He can catch those screens. He can go upfield. He does really well with blocking. He's about maybe 6'4", 6'5", about 250. Not bad for a tight end, especially with him being able to catch the ball. And overall, he's definitely reliable. I think for the Giants, they're going to have to rely on a very reliable tight end. And honestly, I could see him having a better up ceiling than Jeremy Shockey with his just potential. And if you're able to get him in the right direction, I can actually see a nice little combo with Dart and Fidone, especially being a security blanket for him. But overall, I think he'll really help out if he's able to make the starter.
What's his downside, though?
His downside, I know that he had a slight injury. I think if he bulked up a little bit more, I think he would be even better. But for him, I think he might be a little lighter compared to lining up, trying to take on those blocks, especially with those guys coming off the edge. I think if he works on his blocking a little bit more, I think that'll kind of give him an all-around wide range. But him being a receiving threat, he has that. So if he can clean up more on the run blocking and some of the pass blocking, I think y'all got a really good guy, especially in the later round. Like, I'm pulling for Fidone. Like, I hope he makes the team.
That'd be awesome. I hope that he lives up to that potential. But to round out real quick before I get everyone's thoughts and grades, number 246 was Corey Black, cornerback from Oklahoma State. And listen, he's speedy, he's feisty. I'm here for it. I'm here for more bodies in that cornerback room. I'm here for anyone to compete. Drew Phillips was a 4th rounder last year that wound up coming up big for us last year. So I don't count any of these guys out. So to finish out my analysis of the draft, one thing I want to say is that really improved my thoughts on this draft. I had good thoughts about it anyway. But the fact that we drafted some absolute lunatics. Like Abdul Carter really asked LT to wear his jersey. Cam Scadaboo told his dad, that he liked to run into poles for fun. And then Darius Alexander said that he likes to make his teammate, other opponents cry on the sideline to their coach. So I'm here for it. We literally needed those guys that are literally going to be lunatics because we didn't really have many on this team. So based on overall I would say I really, Abdul Carter slam dunk pick. Jackson Dart, more to come. Cam Scadaboo, I really like. Marcus Bowe, I really liked. I really liked the tight end and cornerback move at the end. Darius Alexander, I really liked. I'm giving the draft an A. from my perspective based on what we needed and the types of guys that I think will fit well on this team. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. First off, not only did he ask LT for his number, then he asked Phil Simms for his number.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Phil Simms.
No, you have to be a real lunatic to ask LT because I'm shocked that LT didn't straight up annihilate him.
But then you go to Phil Simms, and Phil Simms is like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then his family's like, "No, he's not." He's like,
he's
"No,
just an old man, loud, literally just listening to the family. LT will literally kill you. So I was shocked when he asked him.
Sorry, go ahead, Maurice.
It's one thing for Malik Neighbors to do that. I forget the guy's name, Flaherty. He played so long ago.
Right,
it's like, okay, maybe. But Lawrence Taylor? No. Come on, man.
Crazy.
So with that in mind, I'm gonna also give your draft an A. I think out of every team in the division, you guys filled the most holes on your roster. The biggest holes. I think you guys filled the biggest needs, and I can't really think outside of maybe wide receiver getting another wide out, but that's not the end all be all for you guys because you do have some interesting guys. You still have what's his name, Jalen Hyatt going into his third season. You still have Bryce Ford Whedon, my favorite guy, of course. And then you had some other guys. Darius Slayton's a good number too. I think that you guys filled pretty much all your major needs. I think the only random one here is maybe tight end, but I get it, fine. And Fedone, look, he's going to have a place in New York City with a last name like Fedone. Okay, so.
Yeah. I'll just say, though, the entire offense is incredibly young outside of guys like Andrew Thomas and Darius Slayton. Wandale's going into year 3, year 4. Hyatt's going into year 3. We got Neighbors who's going into year 2. We have rookie running back, year 2 running back. Everyone's young. Same thing with the tight ends. I'll give them their time to develop. We're not at the point, y'all, where we're going to compete for a Super Bowl, but I am excited to see where these guys develop. Hopefully they become stars. If they don't, hey, we drafted them. We don't have to pick up, whenever they're finished. So I'm cool with it being young. Earl, Maurice, you got anything?
I'll go real quick. I'll give it an A-.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah, kind of like what Lucas was saying. They filled a lot of needs. And the best possible scenario is all of these young guys mature and become stars at the same time. And then you got a nice offensive core. Hopefully you're still rebuilding your offensive line, but you have Dart, Tracy, Scatterboo, Neighbors. Hopefully Johnson comes along and becomes a good tight end. And your offensive line. Your defensive line, that's never going to be a problem. I don't see that being a flaw for you guys anytime soon with as much talent as you put on that defensive line.
I mean, if you got Chauncey Golston coming off the bench for you.
Yeah. You guys are stacked on the defensive line. That shouldn't be a flaw. And, secondary, it's still a work in progress.
Right.
You might need another free agent or two there. But, I mean, all around, at least to the draft, I gave you A-.
Okay.
Earl?
I'm going to give you guys an A. I like the first 2 picks. Y'all were aggressive with it. Y'all traded back into the first round. You got your quarterback. That's a solid, aggressive move. And on top of that, you were able to get a running back. You were able to shore up more, add depth to the defense, as well as the offense. Job well done. Y'all took care of what you needed to take care of. Now it's time for those guys that were drafted to compete. Go out there, earn their stripes. Go ahead, represent. And I think for that, it's really going to help out the Giants fans, especially with how the draft felt overall, where it gives y'all some good vibes. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how all of them compete, and happy those guys got drafted because it's definitely a lifelong dream. And go out there and earn it. Make a name for yourself.
No, yeah, and I will conclude with this before we move on to team news, guys. This will be the most important offseason for the Giants moving forward. They invested a lot in these guys from last year into this year to become good. It'll say a lot about Joe Shane, and it will determine the trajectory of this regime as a whole. So if it fails, we completely tear it all down, new regime, or it goes well for Giants fans, which for my sake, I hope it does. But either way, I'm happy with it.
I'll
Seems
say
good.
this.
So
Well,
hang on.
let me say this before we
Okay.
continue. I do not want to see another season of Mal depressed. So I'm rooting
Me
for the
neither.
Giants.
That was not fun.
I'm rooting for the Giants just
Except
so
when they play
Mal,
us.
just so Mal and Becca and Dan could be a little bit more in good spirits. I'll say.
Yeah,
I appreciate
absolutely.
that,
As
guys.
long as you all stick together and not turn against one another, everything's gonna work out.
Hey, I think that would have
Absolutely.
happened already. Trust me.
So as an offseason as a whole, putting all the moves together, what is the grade that you give the Giants this offseason?
A minus.
A minus. I'll give them a B plus. Earl,
A minus.
Maurice.
I gave him I gave him a B plus and an A minus. So it was
No,
right
you
in
gave
there.
him a B and an A.
Minus.
B and
So
A.
A
B.
B and an A.
Yeah.
So a B plus plus.
Okay.
B
All
plus
right.
plus.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Excellent.
All right, Mal. Any Giants news?
I don't think so, guys. It's been quiet. Let me just do a double check, but I think that I don't really have anything because we picked up Kayvon's 5th year, but I spoke about that last week.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Neal's moving to guard. We discussed that. No major pickups. So I think you're next, and Lucas. So let's talk about the big exciting news for the NFC East.
Yeah, we talked about the arena last week. Now we're going to talk even bigger news because, of course, no, I'm not going to get political here. But I will say that following up the arena news, President Donald Trump, along with owner Josh Harris and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, announced Monday, even though it came out Sunday night, that the NFL Draft in 2027 will be hosted by the city of Washington, D.C.
Congratulations.
How
in the
exciting.
National Mall area.
Congratulations, sir.
We
gonna go?
expect to have the biggest fan turnout in NFL history there with over 1 million, according to Goodell, pretty much everybody that was at the press conference.
Is
Did
that it?
everyone-
Lucas, you want to go?
So wait. Did everyone just become Commanders fans this year?
Nope.
Because where were y'all before this?
Oh, they
were
were in the
hiding in the hole
sewers.
while
They were
Dan
with the Ninja
Snyder
Turtles.
were.
They were eating pizza and cheese. Yep,
Commander
they
fan
were
I
down there.
knew. You were legitimately the only Commander fan I knew. I literally did not know a single one. And
You
now,
know Rio.
all right, outside of you and Rio, I really didn't know any of y'all.
Technically 3 with Lake Lewis.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
just met him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she didn't know Lake beforehand.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna count them, but everyone else, they were in
Okay.
sewers.
So-
They were in
Anyway.
sewers.
They was in the
So
sewers.
yeah, look.
Yep, with the Ninja Turtles. Like I said,
Earl asked if I would want to go. I think that's a day 3 trip for us on that Saturday. What do you
I
think?
would have
Earl?
no problem going.
Okay.
Oh no,
Anybody
you gotta
else
go
wanna
day
do-
one.
We
we're
got
going
to.
to be recording a live reaction day 1, my
Oh,
friend.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's true. Well,
Yeah.
day 2. I mean,
Like, have
I-
we seen somebody actually do that on like as a whole? Like, if we did like live coverage.
I mean, it would be cool, but I would have to look into the legality of any copyright or anything else like that. I don't think it's a problem, but I'm going to check
I
into
would
it.
love to see you with the other Washington fans and their
But
like hog
okay, but
outfits and
then
stuff.
only
Major
me and
Tutty.
you are going to
It'd
be there, and then
immaculate.
Maurice and Mal are going to be stuck where they're at, unless Maurice wants to drive down from Philly.
that
It's
might be a
all
little tough.
right on
Man.
95, my friend. Come
More to
join
come.
us.
That's a
Yeah,
long
well,
drive.
stay tuned. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But if we do go there, me and Earl will definitely make sure that we take plenty of pictures. And no,
we'll
none
definitely
with
take
Major
a picture with
Tutties.
Major Tutty.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. No.
He will
But
be
anyway,
there.
that's the major news there. I mean, we jersey numbers were announced. Nothing crazy. Yeah, I'll save the other stuff for my week next week.
Mhm.
What about you, Maurice? Anything?
Well,
there was one thing.
No, well, last week I talked about Jordan Davis getting his 5th year extension.
Yeah,
and he did.
yeah.
I was skeptical. Don't get me wrong. I was skeptical.
I know.
But they did give him his 5th year on his contract. He will be here until 2026, end of 2026 season. So, yeah, good for him. Good for him. And also, shout out our social media team. because every year they every year
Oh,
they
you're not talking about 14 rings. You're talking about the Eagle. Oh, okay. Here, I thought you were shouting me out.
well, yeah, shout you out. Yeah, I'll
Oh,
give you
thank
some
you.
credit right here on the pod.
Shout out
Okay.
Lucas.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
All the
appreciate it.
graphics you guys see on our social media is Lucas putting in the work. You probably saw our draft list. He just posted that actually, so
Shh! Don't ruin the magic.
don't ruin the magic on my back.
Don't ruin the magic.
Well, the Eagles, for the Eagles social media team, they do a good job posting behind the scenes clips of their draft room.
Mhm.
And there were some gems in there. I'm not going to talk about all of them. You can go on the Eagles social media on X or whatever.
Well, let's just talk about the one with the division here.
Yeah, apparently there's a division tax now.
There is a division tax, and I'm all for it.
Well, Adam Peters learned his lesson from last year. He learned his lesson from
You
the
don't
Cooper
trade in the
DeJean,
division.
from the
Yeah.
Cooper DeJean trade.
You don't make good trades in the division. You make lopsided trades in your favor.
Well, he made 2 deals last year. Don't forget Dotson.
Okay, but like we got a 3rd round pick out of that. That was us winning.
Dotson did have almost a touchdown Super Bowl catch, though.
Yeah.
It worked out. It was balanced. It worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Eagles wouldn't. The Eagles couldn't trade up with any team. Apparently, because the Eagles weren't given a 1st round pick, which stunned Howie Roseman when the Falcons made a trade. And they gave up a 1st round pick to move up. So people was catching on to Howie Roseman.
Mhm.
They're catching on to him, and
Nobody trusts Howie anymore.
yeah, he's like the Danny Ainge of football GMs.
He is. He is.
Yeah, if you know, you know. So, yeah, so the Eagles had a hard time moving up, but still had a good draft. I'll highlight it in a couple
You
weeks.
traded a 6th round pick to move up 1 spot.
Yep, to secure our guy. I ain't mad at
Okay.
that. We had like 4 of them back to back, so whatever.
All right.
Anyway, that's it for Stevens.
Earl, what you got?
Yeah, man, that was crazy. I can't believe teams fell for what Howie Roseman was doing. I knew that after the Jordan Davis thing. It made me say, look, when Jalen Carter fell all the way to the Eagles, you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, doing the other trades and stuff, Washington, I can't believe y'all just gave him a Super Bowl.
Well, no,
especially with
now they have a division tax.
Yeah,
that's what they
By
get.
the way,
and
I
a credit
just want to
card
say
as
that
well.
Howie really liked our pick, by the way.
he did like our pick.
My team's pick.
Yeah,
not
your
I
ours.
team-
bet
your
he
team's
did.
pick.
I bet he
Yeah.
did.
I like how in that video he asked the GM like, "Who you picking?" And they want to tell him like it was a secret, like they're about to make the pick. Tell him
Yeah,
who
it was
it
like
is.
we know what you're up to, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And not falling for it this time.
Yeah.
Treat
No,
some
sir.
kids. But
No, sir.
Cowboy news. I have 2 things. First, there's more things steaming up about Amari Cooper's reunion to the Cowboys.
I'd like to see it.
I'm
Okay.
trying to see. They're starting to see some mutual interest. The only thing is, I wonder if Cowboy fans and front office can swallow their pride to allow him to come back and be a difference maker for the team.
Now, when you
Only
say front office, you really mean Jerry Jones.
I mean, Steven as well.
Okay.
So all that going on, especially with them fans, because I got something for y'all in these upcoming weeks. Because this
He
needs
says
to
he got
stop.
something for us. Uh-oh.
But into the next news, I see my coach. He's boxing right now. He's fighting for what is right.
I
and-
saw a clip. I just haven't watched it yet about him going off or something.
More time on that. But yes, I saw my coach fighting, boxing like he was supposed to, fighting for what was right for the team, where he recently had a press conference by himself. Every time we've seen a press conference, he's either had Jerry on one side with Will McClay and Stephen Jones. This time, Shadi is trying to make things right, where he's saying that the mantra of this team is going to be competition every day. Earn it every day. I haven't seen that under Garrett. I have not seen that under McCarthy. This is kind of the first time I'm seeing Brian Schottenheimer running things here. And I'm on the hashtag let Brian cook, because he needs to. And I think that's what's really going to help this team. I just need front office to just kind of stay in the back. That's why I'm talking to Cowboy Nation right now. We got a war on our hands dealing with front office and allowing this coach to coach. We've seen the past 2 coaches not be able to coach. You know what? I could throw the Wade Phillips in there as well. So 3 coaches that we really haven't seen this team be able to like coach to the right potential. have everybody earn their representation, not anything given to them in that regard. We should have already secured the wide receiver too. But then not only that, I'm not hearing any discussions about a one tech where Mozzie is pretty much our most experienced defensive tackle. That's a problem. But that's for another time. But overall, Cowboys Nation, front office has put us to fight against one another, and we need to stop that and stand under one unit. We got to let this coach. Let Brian cook. I digress.
All right, cool, man, cool. Well, guys, I think wow. Okay, I'm not going to jinx it. Let's keep on going to mailbag.
We did not have a mailbag this week. Eagles
You
Nation.
got a question for us?
Eagles Nation, what's up? What's up, man?
It's the off season, man. We might not get a mailbag for a couple weeks here.
What was that?
Well, I couldn't play the sound effect because I didn't want to get caught with a copyright, so I had to make it up myself.
Noise reduction would have taken it out anyway.
Oh,
But
Yeah.
yeah.
No mailbag this week. No mailbag this week, but I might be risking it here. But Mal,
Yeah.
do you have anything to say about your secondary team over the last week?
Oh yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, no, good riddance. Honestly, the downfall is crazy, but honestly, I think the saddest part about it all is that, like, being someone who's a Baltimore legend, you really let your legacy end that way.
Tarnish.
Yeah, like it's just
Is this
sad.
like Pete Rose level tarnish?
No.
No.
He's not getting banned. No,
Probably under that.
Right.
Not yet.
Right, but no, clearly
Well,
he did something wrong. They tried to play it off as a football decision, but I think we all knew the fate once they drafted the kicker in the 6th round there. So
Writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
good riddance. Bye. Good luck with
Goodbye.
I think teams learn after, people can go online and find the information. But people after Deshaun Watson, I think people are a little bit more, I want to say, quick to the trigger. That
happened with us and our kicker last year too. Even though he ended up, exonerated.
He's not like Justin Tucker level, but
No, and he got exonerated, and he was playing for the Packers by the end of the season. But still,
Yeah, listen. I mean, after all the allegations, after the release, that must have been a big decision for Baltimore. So, I mean, good luck, whatever happens. But Baltimore moved on.
Yeah, move on.
I was curious about that too. All right, so Earl, it's your time. Your time has come.
He was holding it in.
All right.
Now, I will let you guys know in advance. When I was choosing this player, I was actually on the phone with Earl, and he did not. I was like, you want to try to guess now?
I never show my real hand, sir.
Okay. So let's go ahead.
He's softening you up.
Oh, he softened me up. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. It's time for Who's That Football Player? Man, I might have to preach today. This player played with the Washington Commanders. This player back in the 2009 season had 5 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery, 4 sacks, 37 total tackles, 29 solo, 6 tackles for loss, and 13 quarterback hits. This player was a one-time, I guess, SN Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, Sports Network, I think. Yeah,
Sportsnet Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Pro Bowler, 2-time First Team All-Pro. Maurice, Mal, as well as myself. Who's that football player?
Mal, who do you think it is?
I think it's Albert Hainsworth.
Okay,
That's what I was
Maurice.
thinking too. Yeah, Albert Hainsworth.
Earl. Why are you looking at me like that? Why are you looking at me like that? I don't like this. Answer the question.
It's Albert Hainsworth.
Yeah,
I
Albert.
got a lot to say. I'm about to preach today.
Look,
man.
Look.
You know what? I'll say this. He was a stiff with the Commanders or Redskins at the time.
Yeah.
He stole money.
Yeah, he did. He pulled a Ben Simmons.
And that's why I'm about to bring this praise preach for you. This brother here was lazy.
I mentioned somebody that's hated, and then maybe Earl wouldn't get it. But now you guys got it, and I feel bad about this.
I need to get this out. Let me go into my book of roasterology. All right, we're gonna.
The
All right, that's
roasterology.
there. Oh wait, here it is. Thank you, Conscience. Really appreciate it. All right. So one thing that I got from this brother, this man stole money from the congregation of the Washington team and did absolutely nothing but buy donuts with it. This player was supposed to be the force to be reckoned with.
Oh my
But all he was a Build-A-Bear with no comfort. In this situation that I have with this man here, he was useless. He ran y'all, run amok, run astray, behooved you to the point of no return. Lucas, I'm sorry you had to deal with this. Washington fans, I'm sorry you had to deal with this dude. He hoodwinked y'all, conned y'all for 2 years and did absolutely nothing.
Bamboozled.
Yo, I just felt like I went to church. I don't know about you guys.
Honestly, I'm persuaded.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, everything he said was 100% correct.
He
So.
is 100% correct. Yes.
He
No.
took that money.
Please forgive me.
Yeah, he was
No,
done
no,
with
you're
that.
good.
No, look, that is definitely a sound. That is definitely a sound clip right there. Sound
You
bite
even
for sure.
referenced the conscience, which is an important part.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got to
It
talk
meant
to
it
our
came from
conscious.
the
Look,
soul. It meant it came from the soul. Like he
I had to
something.
go to my Bible of roastology.
you know that Earl really
Page-
cared about it because he hates my team. So like,
Can't
Yeah.
stand them jokers. Can't stand them clowns.
Yeah, I'm an Eagles fan. I knew Albert Hainsworth was nothing with the Commanders.
Yeah.
yo,
Nothing.
it was bad.
I felt literally the one remorse I have is that I felt bad for this Washington team for that Hainsworth thing. When it happened, I was like, man, I don't think they should do that. I don't think you're going to get the same
This
results
was
you
worse
got
than
from
the
the
Jason
Titans.
Taylor signing.
Was it worse than the McNabb signing?
Ooh,
Nah, I think
he was
about-
on the team with McNabb that second year.
Maurice,
Yeah,
it was about
was
like
it
here.
20? It was 2010 or 2011.
It was like right
2010.
here, like somewhere in this
Yeah,
range.
that's I would say
Almost
Albert
connect.
was a little bit
Like,
worse
here.
than McNabb, but barely.
Yeah.
They were puzzle pieces that never would fit.
Okay, so, I was not expecting to laugh that hard today. All right, so Mal, let's get to the poll question, shouldn't we?
So, poll question is in honor of the Dallas Cowboys. How would you grade the Dallas Cowboys draft? A, B, C, D to F? It was tied between A and B, and I think that's fair. I think it all kind of depends. Draft grades are hard to give because you have to see how these guys show up first, but we all discussed the Cowboys draft last
Mhm.
week. So I think
Yes.
we have our opinions
They're
on
going to
it.
go out there and earn it the right way.
Yep.
All right, and now we're gonna get to the trivia. And I made this because I kept you in mind, Mal, because I did this while you of a year of when you were alive, so you can't say that I didn't give you anything. So,
Okay.
which New York Giants running back in the 2003 season accounted for the most touchdowns?
Tiki Barber.
Tiki Barber. Maurice, who do you have?
It has to be Tiki Barber, right?
Earl, who do you have?
I got Dorsey Levens and Tiki Barber.
You got no, just in touchdowns, in rushing touchdowns. Sorry.
Oh, Russian?
Yeah,
I think that was Dorsey Levens.
that is correct. It was Dorsey Levens.
What?
Oh, interesting.
Okay, they got the
Oh,
same.
He
Dorsey
only had
Levens with the
two.
Wait,
Giants.
was it Russian touchdowns? Read that again. Was it Russian? I thought it was touchdowns.
Oh.
You're gonna have to fact check that one, Lucas.
Oh, hold up. I think I might have messed up here.
Yeah, 2.
My guy.
Oh no, they're tied. Yeah, because Tiki
Ain't
had
no
one
way
touchdown.
Earl knew that. Come on now. Come
I
on.
knew that.
It was a
I
tie.
remember that season when they got Dorsey Levens. He was a Green Bay Packer.
I think Levens played with the Eagles too.
That too.
He
Yeah,
did.
so Dorsey Levens had 3 rushing touchdowns. Tiki only had 2, but he also had a receiving
One.
touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's actually Dorsey Levens. The answer.
Yeah.
You said rushing.
Well, no, in
You
the
said
question I didn't
touchdowns, the
specify.
most
I didn't
touchdowns.
specify. I just counted for I said accounted for the most touchdowns. I didn't.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
In my head, I meant the right rushing touchdowns. I just didn't write it, so that's a me problem.
By technicality, we're all right.
Correct.
Technically, yes.
But I got the
We'll
old.
take it.
Like I said,
But I
Dorsey
thought it was a
Levens
good trick
Tiki.
question.
You didn't trick
Okay.
me.
Okay,
You
so
never-
He tricked
I
me.
tricked myself. I
Yeah,
tricked
you-
myself.
You
So
played
that's what
yourself.
happened.
Congratulations.
I did play myself.
You
All
played
right.
yourself.
I was foolish. I was childish, churlish, and all the other things.
Undeplorable.
Yes, that too. All right. So on that note, I believe we are just about done. Yeah. So we are done. Gosh, that was a relatively quick one, guys. I'm not gonna lie. So on that note, next week we will be doing the Washington Commanders off season. Any thoughts before we wrap things up? And I'm gonna have Mal play us out. Yes, Earl.
Oh,
Minister Earl.
oh,
The
man.
Minister Earl of the Church of Roasting.
Yeah,
The Church of Roasting.
that just kind of that
But-
player grinded my gears, man. Like it really just.
By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but Earl's nickname in my phone is saved as Master Roasty.
I love it.
There you
That's
go.
fitting.
Real
Mhm.
quick then, this gives me a question. I'm always good with the questions.
Mhm.
What was one NFC East player of any team that pissed you guys off?
Ooh.
That just
Sean
that
Jackson.
annoyed-
Wide receiver
Who?
Roy Williams.
Sean Jackson.
Oh, okay. I
Wide
forget that
receiver
one.
Roy Williams. The haul that Dallas traded for this dude, and he did absolutely nothing. It hurt
DeMarco
my
Murray.
feelings, man.
DeMarco Murray. He was an All-Pro running back. Came here and did absolutely nothing.
I need. Hang on. I'm thinking about this
For an
'cause
extra,
there's a lot of people
for an
that-
extra million, Maurice. I just want to let that sink in. Y'all gave him an extra million compared to what Dallas had gave him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
guess
that,
for
that
me-
Roy Williams, disappointing.
I guess for me,
Yeah.
it's going to be McNabb.
That's fair.
yeah,
You sure
he was
not
past his
Hainsworth?
prime. He was done.
What Earl?
You sure it won't Hainsworth?
Look,
He was the
Because he
quarterback.
hoodwinked y'all. Like it was,
yeah, but
it was
like,
insane.
okay, but like McNabb was the enemy. He came over. Actually, no, I take it back. It was Michael Vick, and it's not for the reasons that you think of. It's because he ruined my one experience going to FedEx Field.
Oh,
It was my 18th birthday.
Okay.
I
It was
remember
my
that too.
18th. For those that
Yeah.
don't know, it was my 18th birthday. It was my 18th birthday.
Monday
My parents
night
drove me
massacre.
out to DC at 8:00 at night.
Mhm.
It's a 2-hour drive from my house, by the way, and he not only was it like misting outside, he just
He lit
demolished
y'all up
it.
like a Christmas
The
tree,
Monday
man.
Night Massacre. The
Oh,
first
it
first
was-
play was like a bomb to Deshaun Jackson.
I remember.
was-
I remember. Yeah.
Well,
so
I
yeah,
wish I
it's-
was there. I would have been like, "Happy
Now,
birthday
shout out
to
Mike
you."
Vick becoming a head
Happy
coach though, and
birthday
Deshaun
to you.
Jackson. Shout out to both
Yeah,
of them. They're going to
yeah.
be playing each other in the MEAC this year. Dell State
shout out
and
to both of
Norfolk
them.
State.
Okay.
Me and Earl were close to Norfolk State when we went to college, and we knew a few people from there.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out some games because I got a chance to
I
meet
might
Michael
join.
Vick
I
when I
might
was
join.
younger.
You know what? When they play let me know when they play Dell State. Let me know
Okay.
because if I have the free weekend, I might make the trip. We might go
Okay.
see them.
Bet.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Behold the green
Okay.
and gold.
Behold the little green.
Can't even
Hornet.
think of one, can you?
No, they're not green. They're red. Who am I kidding? I'm not a Dell State person, but I am a
Pitiful.
Delaware person, so I will always
Pitiful.
represent.
Represent Delaware.
Yep. All right.
Oh.
That being said, Mal, how about you go ahead and play us out?
Yeah, so we want to thank everybody for listening. Make sure you follow us on all platforms, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Music at 14 Rings and NFC East Podcasts, as well as on our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, 14 Rings and NFC East Podcasts, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to go live for a few more episodes and more to come. But make sure you subscribe to us there at 14 Rings and NFC East Podcasts. And everybody have a great day.
See ya.
Peace.
Blessings, y'all. Much love.